With Double or Nothing just 24 hours away, All Elite Wrestling hit the TNT airwaves for a special Friday night edition of Dynamite, headlined by all of the final hype and storyline advancement for tomorrow's pay-per-view extravaganza. Did Orange Cassidy accept Kenny Omega's offer to defer his shot at the world title? What went down when Cody Rhodes and Anthony Gogo shared the same ring for a weigh-in ahead of their intensely personal showdown? Were Darby Allin, Miro, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page able to build momentum ahead of their respective matches Sunday? Find out the answers to those questions and more with this recap of AEW Dynamite. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special Saturday night edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem. Don't adjust your audio. Yes, it is me, Anthony Florio, sitting in tonight for good old MF Michael Fletcher, as he is out this evening. So I am joined by Michael Bullock, and we're going to recap last night's special Friday night edition of AEW Dynamite, and then from there, we're going to preview tomorrow night's AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view event. So with all that being said, let's dive right on into last night's edition of AEW Dynamite. Of course, as you all know, it's normally on Wednesday nights, but because of NBA playoff coverage, it was pushed back to last night. So with that being said, let's get into this, and just waiting for my notes to come in. So okay, it's coming up now, so bear with me here. Okay. Started it off with a match. We had Darby Allin squaring off against Cesar Bononi, and Darby Allin won the match in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm not gonna get into this. We're not gonna get into this. But you know, I'll share a brief thought here. I consider this a cutout match. It was an energetic opener featuring one of the truly beloved AEW stars. He was absolutely the right guy to put out in front of fans ahead of such a significant pay-per-view, generating a loud reaction and setting the tone for the rest of the show. Not only that, but it added some heat to what should be one of the most fun matches on the Double or Nothing card. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are such detestable heels, and their freshness creates legitimate questions as to who might emerge victoriously from that bout. The Dark Order making the save made sense in that they have had Allin and Sting's back before, and Stu Grayson and Evil Uno will battle them later in the show. All in all, solid start to this go-home show. So probably about 2 stars or so. So, you know, a little too short on that end. So not really going to get into that. So then we had the weigh-in. The weigh-in with Cody Rhodes and Anthony Gogo, which was moderated by Paul White, a.k.a. The Big Show. And not really going to get into this either, because this was true to the storyline in that it was underwhelming, lackluster, and totally uneventful. There was no reason this could not have been saved for a pre-tape. It did nothing to create any more buzz for Rhodes versus a Gogo, nor did it make anyone want to see it any more than they already do, which they don't. This was a rare misstep for Cody Rhodes, as has been this entire storyline. It's unfortunate because Cody is a founding father of the company and has made Double or Nothing his event dating back to the 2019 Instant Classic against his brother Dustin. He really deserves better, at least from a creative perspective. So I'm not going to get into that either. But we are going to get into this. Hangman Adam Page versus Joey Janella. Hangman Page wins the match, 9 minutes and 41 seconds. All right. This was a great matchup here. I'm gonna give this about 3 to 3.25 stars. Paige and Janella beat the unholy hell out of each other here, recapturing the brutality of their all-in match and bringing some hard way blood to boot. That buckshot lariat looked like it hurt, and the image of a bloodied Paige, his head opened up by his opponent, defiantly addressing Taz through the blood pouring down his face, was killer. Cage's subtle turn continued here, denouncing the idea that he needed backup to beat Paige and allowing himself to be suckered into leaving Team Taz backstage for their showdown Sunday night. That'll certainly draw the ear of the heels and leave the Machine one step closer to expulsion from a group he's grown more distant from in recent months. But a great matchup here, though. First good action of the night here. I would say maybe this was the second best fight of the night here. 3 to 3.25 stars. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Hangman Adam Page, Joey Janela. Return match from their all-in bout a few years ago. Good match here and the first good thing on the show from last night, even though we had a live crowd for the first time in forever.
Yeah, a packed crowd, to say the very least, which I definitely enjoyed. So, yeah, 3 to 3.25 stars. I agree. I mean, I enjoyed this match. I mean, you definitely want to give Adam Hangman Page some momentum going into his encounter with the Machine, Brian Cage, at Double or Nothing, and yeah, him addressing both Cage and Taz while he was all bloody from his match with Joey Janela was a nice added touch to it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all boils down. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
Alrighty, and we move on to, and then we had a lot of other stuff here. The Orange Cassidy segment. Pac came out instead, and Pac cuts a scathing promo, and Don Callis appeared on the screen and went after Pac, and then eventually Orange Cassidy came out and basically it was he basically said no, which we all had a feeling he would, but Michael Bullock here, Bullock, come on in. I want to get your thoughts on this. This was unlike that weigh-in. I thought this was a much better segment here. I really did.
Yeah, this was definitely a much better segment than that weigh-in. Yeah, like you said, Pac cutting a scathing promo, and then and like you said, Don Callis, that as I like to call him, Florio, a pretty boy hair. Well, he doesn't really have hair, but a pretty boy douchebag that. I think you know the whole skit. Probably he's been living under a rock. Never kissed a girl in his life. That's okay. We've all had our problems in our life. So that's just how I feel about him, and I know you feel the same way about Don Callis, that annoying piece of you know what. So, but this was all just a bunch of a way of a sneak attack by Kenny Omega, and then you had Orange Cassidy come out, and he gave him an envelope with the answer, and with the way it was all torn up, his answer was a emphatic no, and it ended with him holding the AEW World Title. Could this be the scene come Sunday? It could be, but I don't see it happening. But you never know. We've seen some crazy things happen before in AEW, so we'll just wait and see how it goes. So nothing more to say. Florio, looks like that douche Don Callis's plan pretty much went down the drain.
I got to send you something from a recent Impact Wrestling involving Don Callis. I think you're going to enjoy. I'll just leave it at that. So, but anyways, all kidding aside, yeah, no secret. We all know Bullock is not a big fan of Don Callis. He's very high on his hit list. So, but anyways, Kenny Omega and Pac have completely overlooked Orange Cassidy from the outset, and here he delivered another emphatic statement that he should not be counted out when discussing potential winners Sunday night. This was a great segment that put an exclamation point on the build to the Double or Nothing main event, presenting all three in a manner that suggests any of them could leave with the title. Not bad, considering the title match at the pay-per-view was nowhere near obvious just a month ago. So, great segment here. You could probably call this, you can definitely make an argument for segment of the night here, no doubt about it. All right. Next we had Jade Cargill. Oh boy, you want to talk about pieces of work. She's got a new representative, and we thought she couldn't be any more annoying and obnoxious. Now you got to throw in another pretty boy here, Mark Sterling. You remember that idiot lawyer of MJF's? Oh, Lord help me. She's under him now. Yep, there it is, the legendary Michael Bullock I can't take it face. I'm doing a little face of my own. I'm going to throw it back to one of my all-time favorite television shows from back in the day. A little show I like to call Family Ties, and I'm going to do the Stephen Keaton angry face.
If you thought Jade Cargill wasn't annoying enough, now you have to add this ham and egg jabroni with her. Oy.
This is basically AEW's version of Nia Jax and Reginald. That's what this is. So, oh Lord. So, that's that's the legendary Stephen Keaton angry face from Family Ties from back in the day, one of my favorite shows. But anyways, getting back to this, Jade Cargill had a match against Kylan King, and Jade Cargill wins the match 5 minutes and 32 seconds. We're not going to get into this. We're going to cut this out. I'll take it for a spin, though. I mean, this was little more than an extended squash, one that was probably a bit too long at that. Cargill took center stage and looked like an absolute star as she dominated the competition. It was a wholly one-sided match that was never in doubt, and that is probably for the best, given how much time and attention is being paid to Cargill. She probably shouldn't be in too many of these longer squash matches where she is expected to carry things, especially given her inexperience. This was fine for what it was, but too many more of them will expose her weaknesses at this point in the game. Probably give this about 1 star or so. So, we're not nothing more to say here. Then we had another cutout, Miro and Dante Martin for the TNT Championship. Miro wins the match, 3 minutes and 16 seconds, still the TNT champion. And then Lance Archer came out with Jake the Snake Roberts, and they had a heated promo segment. Martin was the right opponent for Miro in this bout. He bumped his ass off to make Miro look like a dominant force. The overall quality of the squash match can be traced right back to his willingness and ability to put over the champion's offense. The post-match exchange between Roberts and Miro lacked a spark, and Archer coming down and raising hell was fine for what it was, but none of it really escalated the rivalry and made it any more interesting. It was such a disappointment because Miro's work over the last month with smaller opponents has been nothing short of extraordinary. Could probably call this another 1-star effort. So really not much more to say here. Then we had the celebration of Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's Champion, and what happened here was Tony Schiavone was in the ring, and he brought out Hikaru Shida, and we have a brand new AEW Women's Championship belt. They made a new belt, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. The belt they had that Shida and all the other women have had all this time, I kind of thought it was an ugly belt, if I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't really feeling that belt. I mean, it kind of reminded me of the the old school WWF Ladies Championship that they had in like the 80s and whatnot. The belt that they gave, the new belt that they gave Shida last night, I like that a hell of a lot better. It definitely looks more like a legitimate women's championship belt. I like the style of it. And then Dr. Britt came out, Britt Baker, and cuts a scathing heel promo here. So Bullock, I gotta ask, how do you like that brand new women's title belt? I think it's a lot better than that other one. I thought it was an ugly belt from like 30 years ago.
You know what, Florio? I don't think the original belt wasn't that bad. I'm not saying it was the greatest. I mean, I'll just sum it up this way, Florio. I just think it was That's how I'm gonna say it. But yeah, I'm with you on this one. This new belt was definitely is definitely far and away better than the one that she had, and yeah, this was a celebration of Hikaru Shida as she celebrated 1 year as the AEW Women's World Champion. I mean, she's had one heck of a run as the champion. If I'm going to be quite honest, Florio, and yeah, of course, Dr. Britt Baker cuts a scathing promo saying that she's going to end the reign of Hikaru Shida and become the new women's champion. Now, the only thing is, Dr. Britt Baker, you can walk the walk, but the question is, Florio, as I give it to you, can she talk the talk in the ring? That's the only thing. Because if she can't get the job done, then this is just going to make her look like a total doofus.
And if she can't get the job done, then who can? I mean, Shida has run that women's division. She's ruled that women's division with an iron fist. I mean, when she defends the title tomorrow night, it will mark 379 days as the AEW Women's Champion, which is almost the length of Bayley when she was the SmackDown Women's Champion. That was 380. This would be 379. But nonetheless, it was short, sweet, and to the point, and this one did not overstay its welcome. Instead, it shined a light on a program that didn't need any overproduced angle or creative. Baker, the best heel in AEW this side of MJF, ruining the moment. To put herself over was very much in character and sets the stage for her to ascend the throne and win a title many expected her to have held by now. Kudos to Shida for a hell of a year as champion, in a moment she absolutely deserved in front of a live crowd that appreciated her talent. So, very good stuff there. And then we had Evil Luno and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order squaring off against Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky win the match, 8 minutes and 45 seconds. If I'm going to be honest with you, I got to consider this the fight of the night. 3.5 stars. Dark Order, Sky and Page tore the house down with a tag match that struggled to captivate the audience early, but sucked them in after the hot tag to Uno. That is a testament to the masked man and his in-ring charisma. Page and Sky looked mighty impressive entering Double or Nothing, so much so that it would not at all be surprising if they were to knock off Darby Allin and Sting. The babyfaces got the upper hand last night, which may tip the scales in their favor. The Sting reveal was cool, but it still felt a bit overproduced when he easily could have just shown up and kicked ass. But, it is what it is. 3.5 stars for me. This was the fight of the night, so not much more to say. Michael Bullock, great tag team matchup here.
Yeah, this was definitely a great tag team match. What did you give it again, Florio?
I gave it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars as well. I mean, yeah, this was definitely a nice match here. I definitely enjoyed it, and definitely it definitely gives the Page and Sky some momentum going into that tag team matchup against Darby Allin and Sting. So, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, no doubt about it. So, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
And we'll move on to the closing segment of the night, the celebration of the Inner Circle, moderated by brand new WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff, interrupted by the Pinnacle, MJF and his goons. They attacked Dean Malenko. If you know the story, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho, very close friends, as you all know, dating back to their days in WCW, where some of the matches they had absolutely tore the damn house down. And MJF and company threatened to do some harm to Dean Malenko. And that brought out the Inner Circle, and they fought inside the stadium. They fought inside TIAA Bank Stadium, the home of the Jaguars, and all hell broke loose. And unfortunately, MJF and the Pinnacle, they stood tall at the end. So, Michael Bullock, I mean, it was a great segment, yes, but unfortunately, there's nothing we hate more than when MJF stands tall, and I know that pisses you off, as it does me.
It always pisses me off when, I mean, you thought I couldn't stand Don Callis. I mean, I hate this pretty boy douchebag in MJF even more, and I really hate him when he comes out on top as he did last night. But it was definitely a good way to give the Pinnacle some momentum. But you know what? I mean, this could be a booking 101. Well, we'll get into the match. I mean, when we preview Double or Nothing. But how about this, Florio? I mean, how good was it to hear the fans, a packed crowd, singing Chris Jericho's theme song?
The Fozzy song Judas. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and you could just see the look on Chris Jericho's face. I mean, he was literally smiling. I mean, it was
Wail Tomorrow.
He was smiling just the seeing. I mean, and you could even tell. I mean, he was fired up to have the fans back in capacity. And it wasn't just him, but the entire Inner Circle was definitely all fired up about it, and they gave their perspective on the careers of the Inner Circle and some of the things they've done. So, in case this was the last time that we ever see them together, but will that be the case? We'll find out on Sunday. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say except I give it to you, Florio. Great way to end the show, but
yeah. Oh, I didn't talk to
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That was just my dad coming in. So.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. No,
let me finish up my point. Where was I? Yeah. I mean, they were giving their thoughts on their career, and so now as I give it to you, Florio, I mean, could this be the last time we see the Inner Circle together? We'll find out. And just one quick update, the Boston Bruins have taken a 3-2 lead in game 1 of their second round against the New York Islanders, as they just scored another goal in front of a full capacity at the TD Garden. Man, I'd love to say that.
And I know you wish you could be there. I know you do. But that's definitely good news. And as far as this is concerned, this to me, well, actually, I'm gonna consider this the segment of the night here. This was a strong conclusion to last night's show, particularly with the heartfelt promos from Inner Circle. But the trap set by the Pinnacle left created one big question: Why is Jericho suddenly gullible now that he's a babyface? Le Champion should have known that MJF was luring him right into a trap, a beating that would leave him and his partners lying ahead of the most important match of their careers. Jericho should have seen it coming and called the Pinnacle's bluff. Instead, he allowed himself to fall right into the hands of MJF and company, raising the question, was this the first time Jericho had ever watched pro wrestling? That criticism aside, Pinnacle continued to get the upper hand over the babyfaces ahead of Sunday's bout and certainly appears poised to retire Inner Circle for good, or so you would think. Don't let the celebration of Inner Circle fool you. A video package and some promos do not mark the conclusion of AEW's first faction. Let's just get that out of the way right now. So not much really more to say on that. With all that, let's get into our overall review of last night's show. And I got to be honest, this was about a 7 out of 10 for me. Though this show did a pretty good job setting up the big matches for tomorrow without giving away too much. Some technical errors, though, just enough to be annoying. But we had a couple of good segments. We only had maybe 2 good matches on this show. And unfortunately, not really. I mean, it was a fine show. Don't get me wrong. But I feel it could have been better, especially for a go-home show. But the best part, easily having the live crowd, the full capacity crowd, which I thought they would have saved for the pay-per-view, but it was a 7 to 7.5 for me. A good example of a show that wasn't about the wrestling. Last night was all about setting up the pay-per-view, and what we got worked very well. They made me want to see Double or Nothing a lot more than I did coming into the show, and that is why you have a night like that one. There were some issues. The weigh-in segment was ridiculous, and there was no must-see bout, but that wasn't the point. It was a strong go-home show, and that's what it needed to be. So I'm going to give it about 7 to 7.5, even though we did have a few cutouts and whatnot. But it's only because of the storyline progression, and they did a great job with that. So it's between 7, teetering 7.5. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, let's get your quick thought, and then we'll go into our Double or Nothing preview.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. I thought it was a good go-home show for AEW Dynamite. I mean, could it have been better? Absolutely, it could have been better, but I thought it was good enough for it to be a passable show. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to add to it. So now, Florio, it's time to get into AEW Double or Nothing, the 3rd edition of Double or Nothing.
Yep, and for the 2nd year in a row, this event will be held at the Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm sure it might be the last time, as it will, as it'll of course be going on tour. It'll go back to going on the road in July. So, All Elite Wrestling is heading back to pay-per-view tomorrow night with Double or Nothing. This is the 3rd year for the event, which served as AEW's inaugural pay-per-view event in 2019 and has featured some of the young promotion's most exciting moments. Kenny Omega has a tough task ahead of him as he defends the AEW World Championship against both Orange Cassidy and Pac in one of the night's featured matches. On the women's side, Hikaru Shida, AEW's longest reigning champion in history, will defend the women's championship against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Double or Nothing goes down tomorrow night at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. The event will also be the return to full capacity crowds as confirmed by the promotion earlier in the month. Main show begins at 8 o'clock on pay-per-view, or for those of you who don't like to do it on pay-per-view or don't have the capabilities, you can, stream it through BR Live, Fight TV. Of course, that's what I'll be doing. And so with that, let's have a look now at the Double or Nothing matches, and that's all there is to say. So so with that being said, we're gonna start it off with the buy-in match. On the buy-in, we will have on the buy-in, of course, it will be Serena Deeb defending the NWA Women's Championship against Riho, and I'll say it like this. I mean, first off, I want to give a quick shout out to our dear friend Derek Ferreira, Yankee Messiah 401. He posted his prediction video earlier today, and he mentioned something that that stood out to me and was news to me. I didn't know about this. He mentioned something about Riho's contract possibly coming up within the next couple of days or so at the end of this month, which would be Monday. And we don't know if she's going to stay with AEW or if she's going to go to another promotion or if she's going to go to Japan. I don't know. But based on this, if this is true, then I'm going to have to go with Serena Deeb to successfully defend the NWA Women's Championship. But don't get me wrong, it should be a hell of a match. So I'm going to just leave it at that. So I'm going with Serena Deeb to retain the NWA Women's Championship. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, and I heard about this too, about Riho's contract with AEW running out. And if that is the case, I mean, I'm going to have to agree with you, Florio. I mean, if she doesn't come back to AEW, I'm going to have to go with Serena Deeb to win the match and still will still be your NWA Women's World Champion. So nothing else to say. Let's move on.
All right, and Bullock will start off with our main card predictions here, and we will we'll go in the order of big matches. I suppose we'll save the championship matches for last and whatnot. So no, hold on. Let me go with the order of the card here as what I have. So all right. So no, I'm just gonna go in this order. If the main event is the main event, so we're just gonna leave it at that. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna do this my way. So with that being said, let's start it off from bottom to top as I have it in my notes here. AEW World Tag Team Championship on the line. Champions, the Young Bucks, defending the titles against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Michael Bullock, pick me a winner.
Boy, this is a tough one for me. I mean, I like what they've been doing with Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston here. I mean, what they've been doing as a team. I mean, but then again, you got the Young Bucks with what they've been doing as the AEW Tag Team Champions. But this is a tough one for me to call. So I think the way they've been pushing Moxley and Kingston, I'm actually going to take a chance here. I'm going to say winner and new AEW World Tag Team Champions, Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. I mean, I just got this feeling that they're going to want to put the titles on them. I mean, that's just how I feel. But I would not be surprised if the Young Bucks come out still the tag team champions. And the only reason why I could still see them still being tag team champions, obviously not just Don Callis, but maybe the Good Brothers as well. So, but I got this feeling that it's going to be Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston come out as the champs. That's who I'm going with here. But like I said, I will not be surprised if the Young Bucks are still the champs. So Florio, I got this funny feeling that you're gonna probably disagree with me. So just put it out there.
Yeah, I'm torn. I'm torn as well. I mean, this really can go either way. On one hand, I could definitely see Moxley and Kingston win the belts. To give the full crowd a big moment there. But there's also that part of me that thinks the Young Bucks will go over here. After the Bucks retained their titles against the Varsity Blondes, Moxley and Kingston attacked. That was a continuation of the ongoing issues between Moxley and Kingston and the Elite. Now Moxley and Kingston will be looking to capture tag team gold by taking out the more established team on the AEW roster. This is a very tough match to call, with value in a win either direction. I'm going to assume we see some shenanigans that allow the Bucks to retain the belts and propel Moxley and Kingston forward. So I'll take the chance and I'll go with the Young Bucks to successfully defend the titles, but I wouldn't be surprised if Moxley and Kingston were to win the belts. I wouldn't. So we'll wait and see. Speaking of tag team matches, Sting and Darby Allin squaring off against Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Darby Allin and Ethan Page had a classic independent wrestling rivalry in Evolve, with Page doing all sorts of damage to Allin in creative ways. That carried over to a recent Dynamite where Page and Sky attacked Allin before throwing him down a flight of stairs. Allin will join forces with Sting in an attempt to gain a measure of revenge. While some feel any Sting match is one where he has to win, it wouldn't make much sense from a booking standpoint. Page and Sky need the win to be elevated, while Allin has already been elevated through his run with the TNT title and association with Sting. A win for Page and Sky opens opportunities to many interesting things for the future, while a win for Sting and Allin does not do much for anyone involved. So with that, I'm going to go with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky to win this match. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky to win. I mean, as much as I want to see Darby Allin and Sting win this match, I think Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page need this one more. And who knows? Maybe a win like this could give them a future shot at the AEW World Tag Team Champs. Maybe that's another reason why you want to have John Moxley and Eddie Kingston go over. So you got Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky go after them. So we'll wait and see. But for now, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky win this one. So Florio, it's yours.
All right, and Bullock, you'll start off on the next match. Stadium Stampede, the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle.
Boy, this is a rivalry that has gone on, and obviously stemming from the whole Blood and Guts match they had, where the Pinnacle went over. And this rivalry has been built so good. And obviously, one more match with them in the Stadium Stampede, and obviously, a loss by the Inner Circle means they're done for. So I think the obvious choice for me, obviously, since the Pinnacle got the win in the Blood and Guts, I think they're going to want to give the Inner Circle the win back here. So I'm going with the Inner Circle to win the Stadium Stampede. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. It was impossible to believe that these two groups wouldn't clash again in some format after Blood and Guts. MJF throwing Chris Jericho from the top of the cage didn't feel like the end of the rivalry, and you don't pass up on building things through the following pay-per-view event. That's exactly what happened as Jericho and the Inner Circle showed up on the following edition of Dynamite to issue a challenge for a Stadium Stampede match, with the stipulation that Inner Circle would break up forever should they lose the match. The Pinnacle got the win at Blood and Guts, and with the stipulation putting Inner Circle's future at risk, it feels like they're going to get their revenge here to remain a unit. So I agree with you, Bullock. I'm going with the Inner Circle to win that match as well. Next up, TNT Championship on the line. We got Miro defending against Lance Archer. Miro captured the title on May 12th, beating Darby Allin on Dynamite. In the ensuing post-match chaos, Archer made his way to the ring to confront Miro. It was all but a formality that Archer would be the first man up to challenge Miro, and that was confirmed the following week. Archer provides a good opponent for Miro, giving him a meaningful first win in a pay-per-view title defense. It's almost a guarantee that Miro is not going to lose the belt so quickly after winning it, leaving little drama as far as the winner of the match. So, winner and still the TNT champion, Miro. Michael Bullock, your thoughts? Bullock, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. And of course, well, first off, a quick update, Florio. The Bruins just got another goal. It is now 4-2, midway through the third period. And guess what, Florio? It's hat trick time because it's David Pastrnak who got the hat trick. His third goal of the night. So
nice.
They are, and I see it right now at the TD Garden. They're firing off the hats to signal the hat trick. So, yeah, so it looks like unless something happens, something miraculous happens, the Bruins could be on their way to a Game 1 victory. So, yeah, so what are we talking about? Lance Archer and Miro?
Yes.
Well, who did you go with?
Miro. Who else?
Yeah, I'm going with Miro as well. I mean, as much as I want to see Lance Archer get the TNT title, Miro's on such a roll right now. Since they broke him away from Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford in that best man character, but since going by himself, they're really making him look like a monster badass, and it would make no sense to take the TNT title off of him. So winner and still the TNT champion, Miro. It's yours, Florio.
All right, and Bullock, you get to lead off on the next match. It's the Casino Battle Royale. Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Penta El Ziedo Miedo, Jungle Boy, Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, The Blade, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Preston Vance, Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, QT Marshall, Nick Comoroto, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, and the mystery competitor. So Michael Bullock, who do you think will come out of the Casino Battle Royale and get a future world title shot?
Oh man, there's a lot of names out there. That could win this one, but I'm gonna take an obvious guess with this one, Florio, and I'm gonna go with Christian Cage to win. Ever since coming into AEW, he's trying to make a name for himself, and I think, to me, this would be the obvious way to get him over. So I'm gonna go with Christian Cage. So Florio, do you have him, or do you have someone else out of there? It could be anybody big that could win this one.
Yeah, but one of the staples of AEW pay-per-view events returns as competitors will battle for a future shot at the AEW World Championship. There will likely be at least one surprise entrant, as has become standard for these matches in AEW. It's hard to predict a match with unknown elements and so many participants. That said, Christian Cage is someone who can make the earned championship opportunity seem like a big deal. So I agree with you, Bullock. I'm going with Christian Cage to win the Casino Battle Royale. Next up, we have Adam Hangman Page squaring off against Brian Cage. Brian Cage beat Adam Page on a recent Dynamite after help from Team Taz. That led Page to issue a challenge for a pay-per-view bout. Page also told Cage to leave Team Taz in the back so they could square off in one-on-one action with no interference. The loss to Cage knocked Page from his spot as the number one wrestler in AEW singles rankings. Page is going to continue to be a fixture at the top of the AEW rankings, and he needs to get the win back to regain his position, and I think he will. So I'm going with Adam Hangman Page to win this match. Michael Bullock, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Adam Hangman Page to win this one. Yeah, I got a feeling something's going to happen, especially maybe something could happen with Brian Cage and Team Taz. So Who knows? Who knows what could happen here? But either way, I'm going with Adam Hangman Page to win this one. So Florio, it is yours.
All right, Bullock, and you start off on the next match. Cody Rhodes versus the American Dream Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this rivalry has been big ever since that, as I like to call him, that turncoat or Benedict Arnold, QT Marshall, turned his back on the Rhodes family and assembled his own faction. And this Anthony Ogogo feels like he's the one that can lay waste to Cody Rhodes and finally put him away for good. But sorry, Mr. QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo, I don't see that happening. I'm going with the American Dream, Cody Rhodes, to win this one. Florio, it is yours.
Agreed. Ogogo is part of the factory and recently laid out Rhodes with a body punch. Rhodes responded with an oddly patriotic promo announcing the match, saying that he would assume his father's nickname of the American Dream for it. Rhodes has been tangled up with factory leader QT Marshall, and this is the next step in that story. Given that Ogogo is not the leader of the faction with which Rhodes is at war, and that this is now some sort of Cody Rhodes is defending America story, it seems this is just a showcase spot for Rhodes to get a pay-per-view win. So I'm going with Cody Rhodes to win this match as well. AEW Women's Championship on the line. Hikaru Shida defending against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Shida has held the championship for more than a year. Tomorrow will mark day number 379 in that reign, providing badly needed stability for the women's division over that time. Baker, meanwhile, has been on an impressive run of improving as a wrestler and personality, including being one half of the first women's main event in AEW history when she battled Thunder Rosa in an incredible unsanctioned match on March 17. Baker will challenge for the title for the third time in her career, the previous two attempts to capture the gold coming against former and inaugural champion Riho. The length of Shida's reign and the strong focus on Baker in recent months suggests it's time for the belt to switch hands. So winner and new AEW Women's Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Michael Bullock, do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree with you. I'm going with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, to win and end the historical reign of Hikaru Shida as AEW Women's World Champion. But I'm telling you this, Florio, I don't think it's going to end cleanly. So I got this funny feeling that Dr. Britt Baker's, I don't know how you would call it, a friend or whatever, rebel, not Reba. I think it's going to get involved in this, or Britt Baker will win some shady way. So that's how I got it going. I got Dr. Britt Baker winning it, but I don't see her winning it cleanly. So, Florio, it is yours.
And Bullock, you'll be leading off on the main event. Triple threat match for the AEW World Championship, Kenny Omega versus Orange Cassidy versus Pac. Michael Bullock, who's walking out with the World Heavyweight Championship, as if we didn't know.
I think it's obvious for me. I'm going to say it right here, winner and still the AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega. I mean, he's just on an absolute roll right now. I think it would be a shame. I mean, obviously, to me, it wouldn't make sense to put the title on Orange Cassidy. And as much as I like Pac and how he could challenge Kenny Omega, I just don't see him winning the title. So, winner and still AEW World Champion, the cleaner, Kenny Omega. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, with Omega on an incredible run after capturing the AEW title from and defending it against Jon Moxley, and then defeating Rich Swann to add the Impact World Championship to his collection, the champion was in need of a new challenger. Cassidy and Pac faced off on Dynamite with the winner earning a title shot. After some interference from Omega left both men down for the 10 count, it was announced that rather than having the night off, he would face both Cassidy and Pac in a three-way triple threat match at the pay-per-view. It feels unlikely that Omega drops the title here, as the match simply doesn't feel big enough or feature the right opponent to take over the champion role. though both Cassidy and Pac are outstanding wrestlers. So with that, winner and still AEW World Heavyweight Champion, the Clean Air Kenny Omega. So that will put the bow on this special Saturday night edition of Mayhem. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We will be back with you right around this time on Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. Great way to cap off your Memorial Day weekend, as we will review Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston. The winner will face Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship at Hell in a Cell. Miz returns with an installment of Miz TV, as he will welcome Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley and her Hell in a Cell opponent Charlotte Flair. That and so much more. We'll get into all that on Monday night, as well as my latest Tony's take on Impact Wrestling and 205 Live. And then MF said Wednesday night we would be recapping the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. I got to talk to him about that, because Dynamite's not going to be on Wednesday for the second week in a row. So we'll have to talk about that. I do believe we will be back Thursday night for Strictly Sports. So we will be previewing the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And if anything else comes in, we'll get into that. And Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. And I'm sure we'll be back doing this again next Saturday night for Mayhem. So we'll have to talk to MF about that. So, but for now, until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, this is Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson, and always and forever the Yankee Messiah 401 Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw the Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed rest of your Memorial Day weekend. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching this special Saturday night edition of Mayhem right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamer.com. And remember, as I always say, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.